How do we evaluate whether a resale property has potential or not? Now, that was the most common question I've gotten on a recent poll I did in the Telegram group, alongside like landed property topics that our members would like to see. Now, truth be told, I have done many videos on this. I've talked about the QPE framework many times on how I assess whether a property, be it resale or new launch, can buy or cannot buy. But for the benefit of those of you who are new here, I will share with you on this video on how do I do my research for resale property. Disclaimer, whatever I share does not constitute financial advice. It is solely based on my opinion on what is right or wrong. So please do your own due diligence. If you're liking the content so far, please hit the like and subscribe button, as your simple gesture will help a lot with the YouTube algorithm. If you are interested to find out more about property related matters, please find all the social media handles I am on, or you can just directly reach out to me on WhatsApp. Separately, I have also set up a Telegram group at the start of the year so that we can have a discussion that we as agents are not allowed to do so online, which is to talk. So if you are interested to get into a community that talks about everything under the sun about property, please scan the QR code, or for the boomers out there, I have pasted the link in my description. We're going to close the group invitation in probably a month or 2 times, so head over and I will see you there. Now back to the video. For a start, you may think, why is he sharing his secret sauce? Now, let me tell you this. I can share with you the method on how I research on this, but guess what? You will know later on in the video why the human factor, knowledge and experience comes into play. Okay, I think you know that researching on a new launch project is fairly easy. You get a certain direction from somewhere and then you just go with it. Or you look at the price, you look at the floor plan, you talk about schools, so on and so forth. Very fair, but very often you get lost when it comes to resale. Like, how and where do I exactly start from? I'll tell you how, okay? And again, our QPE framework still comes into play, but because for resale properties, gradually across the years, the quality and exit strategy should remain the same. That's the only constant. Now, you buy something with good quality and price, but bad exit, you die off. Or you buy something cheap, good exit, but bad quality, you also die. You buy a good property with a good exit, but overpay, you also tree. So the variable part of this equation is price. And price changes over time, quality and exit don't. Okay, so more on that in a bit. So first point, we usually look at the vitals of a property, the aesthetic. And first circle of our QPE framework, the land size, facilities and facade. Is it a small development, big plot, mid plot? There are certain properties in certain locations that focuses very much on this point. Now, I'd like to give you an example of Newton properties. You can be located side by side. One can be making a lot of money like Park Infinia, and then you have one like hardly making any in Park Centennial. You want to check it out for yourself, okay? Now, pricing isn't everything. Again, I can share with you this method, but this is where I come into the picture. Now, remember I mentioned about that human factor, knowledge and experience that comes into play? I can give you the method and I can give you the parameters to work with, like what do you compare with, right? So Park Infinia, do you compare with Atelier or do you compare with like Viva? Okay, if you compare wrongly, you also die. That's why the agent advising you on this still matters, and I matter. Alright, so the rule of thumb is very simple. The larger the land, the more the developers can build something for you. The smaller the land size, quite obvious what it is. The smaller something is, the lesser you have, and the lesser attractive it is. Okay? In today's market, buyers are getting very demanding. The grounds, the facilities are very important, and these have very much to do with ABSD. It's like pretty much, you'll be like, hey bro, what's this got to do with ABSD, right? But it's pretty much important to understand the concept of ABSD. Now, with all this ABSD going around for second properties, it has now forced a lot of people to focus their property purchase primarily for own use. So that emotional part of a purchase can be very important. Now, when buyers focus primarily on properties for own consumptions, then that explains a lot of things, right? Why they shun a certain location like in the CBD, because they'll just like not want to move there, or because work already so sad already, still want to stay there, man. I mean, expat does, locals just don't know. Then the next one is like Sentosa, because it's nice, but it's more like a holiday spot now. And because the emphasis is on properties for own use, as mentioned, buyers starts to become picky with choices. Okay, you go see East Coast properties, not only location must be good. Okay, facilities and grounds must be also good, because most of the time you will spend bringing the kids down for walks or whatnot ever. The feel-good factor must be there, and that's why larger land size typically gives you a higher chance of like something like that happening. As simple as that. Okay, then number two, how the layout looks, because very often that's the soul of a property. Now, weird corners, inefficient use of space. Now with the new harmonization changes that kick in, layout these days are extremely efficient, but it doesn't mean harmonized it's always better. I know you guys have been seeing a lot of videos recently out there keep talking about like, oh, how harmonized layouts will spell an end for resale properties, like as if the older properties layouts are that bad. Yes, I agree that harmonized layouts are more efficient, as I mentioned, but always remember, a good layout is a good layout. A bad layout is a bad layout. Now, there are two certain type of units that the certain group of peoples cannot accept. Now, it's not something we can generalize across the board just like that. I give you an example. When you go to certain districts to look at properties, like example, Mayor Road in District 15, when it's an atas neighborhood, the room size, the living room space does matter. So what you are very, very efficient. Your room size small, the target audiences cannot accept. You harmonize or not harmonize also no use correct? The people that are like so atas, what they want is like a proper and sizable space. So when you build smaller units there, do you really think the exit is that easy? I mean, it might be, but just probably like tougher to move along. So layout is very, very important in my opinion, and for rooms, minimally a queen size must be able to fit in an ideal scenario. Now, there's a certain era I know in the year like 2000 to about 2013, 2014, whereby you probably get like the worst sort of layouts. Now, units with plenty of balcony space, planted even in the toilet, big bay windows. I think the seasoned buyers during that period of time would know. And to emphasize how important layout is, I would like to give you one example, and that's Queen's Peak 1001 square feet versus Commonwealth Tower 1076 square feet. Now, both are sort of like the 3-bedroom with yard layout. Both condos are side by side. Both are about the same age, and both shares the same sort of convenience, but the profitability are not the same. So let's take a look at the Queen's Peak unit, okay? Now, unit comes into the open concept kitchen and dining spot. Now, that's the first red flag, okay? 3-bedroom premium with no enclosed kitchen in a mostly residential neighborhood is like asking to be short, Never mind, goes to a balcony that stretches to like bedroom 3. Now, well, big balcony sometimes can be quite nice, but look at bedroom 3. Can only fit in a super single. So when that happens, you will ask yourself this question, right? Why not make the rooms bigger instead? Why do I need such a big balcony? Okay, never mind. Let's continue. Okay, bedroom 2 also the same, right? Can only put in a super single bed. See, like lucky 不会, right? Balcony so big for what? Like, at least cut it into half, can give like bedroom 2 and bedroom 3 more space. Now, what's worse? You see the utility room, so big. Now, so big at the expense of the bedrooms kind of makes you feel aggrieved that there's really plenty of things that can be done to make it a much cleaner layout. Lesser balcony space, lesser utility, give it more to the rooms and kitchen spot. It's really a case of what if. and the profitability will show. I mean, it still make pretty decent money, 400k to like 600k in 9 years. It's okay, but enter Commonwealth Tower, 1076 square feet. Okay, we start off with a weird walkway. You can say that's like the first red flag. Then when you start moving towards the living room space, landscape layout, okay, lovely. Balcony space also quite big. Okay, balcony big can be a good thing, as I mentioned. Kitchen is enclosed, good. Proper yard and utility and washroom, very good. Bedroom 2 looks like about 10 square meter, which is very good. Can comfortably put in a queen size bed. Bedroom 3 also good. Master bedroom also good space with a separate walk-in wardrobe. So you see, this makes the larger balcony inconsequential. And given the views at this Queenstown area are quite nice generally, this layout is way more acceptable for most buyers. Now, over the same period of time, the Commonwealth Tower unit made between 700k to all the way to $1 million, almost double that of Queen's Peak. And the rationale is very, very easy to understand. If you go into a unit that has plenty of objections, you just force people to look for alternatives before they re-explore coming back to you. So if you visit the two, I think majority would prefer like Commonwealth Tower over Queen's Peak. Of course, this is not taking into account the facilities and whatnot ever, but it shows clearly how layouts can be so important. That's why when I start analyzing or resale properties, the land size, facilities and facade, the layouts are very important. However, the research always starts from price. But before I talk about price, I want to say this one thing, okay? For resale properties, very often the quality and exit strategy remains the same, because as it ages, the layouts won't change unless you renovate. The facilities won't change. The target audience also more or less won't change. But the one thing that changes in time is price. And price will decide if it's worthwhile to enter or not. And that's point number 3. Pricing is very, very important. It can be important, yes, but again, still not everything. You must take into account the above, as I mentioned, land size, facilities, facade, quality, layout. But let's talk about pricing. The key to analyzing whether a pricing is good or not, you need to put down several markers to compare with the unit that you are analyzing on, whether it is expensive or not. Now, analyzing just the price itself in the same development just tells you whether you're overpaying in that particular point of time or not. That's just about it. Okay, that's weak analysis. If you don't do an in-depth comparison, there's no way to understand if it's really cheap or it could be a value trap. Now, example, and for convenience sake, now that we agree that Commonwealth Towers is suitable for you and you want to start exploring the numbers for it, you need to understand what are the price points surrounding Commonwealth Towers. You got to look at what's going on in the Queens, Anchorage, Sterling Residences, Queens Peak. Even the new launch Penrith has to be taken into consideration because the new launch is a trendsetter. Now, understanding what the leader in price in the area will give you an understanding of what's the maximum appetite in the neighborhood itself. Then to be even more in-depth, you have to branch out to properties in the Red Hill area. And just to make things easier to understand, I won't consider Eklon, Alex Residences and the Crest as equal. Why? Go and find out for yourself. So for those who are familiar with this research will know, I have to take a look at what's going on at Atra, Metropolitan, Essential Sky, Principal Gardens, and I think to a certain extent, Tanglin View. Now, once you understand what the 3 bedrooms are transacting in this neighborhood, you are then able to judge if the price the owners are asking for in Commonwealth Tower is fair or not, because the pricing they are asking in today's market for sure is not going to be cheap. It's easy to always use last transaction as a gauge, but the challenge is always looking at it from today's price and what's the potential. So understanding pricing itself might seem easy, but are you doing it right? Are you doing it enough? That's where an agent factor comes into place, or into play. That's where I come into the picture. Okay, do you know what should you be comparing with? Or do you know where should you compare? See, I told you right. I can give you a rough formula, but the experienced one will be able to cut short that research and analysis process so that everything can be done in a quick manner. Like, why did I say that Echelon, Alex residences and Crest prices are what I will not pay too much attention to? There's a reason, as I mentioned. Go research for yourself. That's how I do it. I always start from price first. Then once I find something quite reasonable, I will dive deeper into understanding if there's a reason the property is trading at a much lower price, like Queen's Peak Law. Then the evaluation process will be like, okay, the price is good, but can people accept the flaws of the unit? Because cheap doesn't always mean it's better. Now, not to forget MRT, proximity towards MRT, whether is it like closer to a hot HDB enclave or not. Now, that research depends on where I'm researching on. And to cap it off, what I'm saying, I will give you an example of what I think is a fantastic proposition using the above method, okay? Now, let's try with the budget 1.3 to 1.4. And this is a budget where most of you will struggle to get something, right? It just might ask you to like just try some new launch 1 to 2 bedrooms as a stepping stone. No, I think in today's market, if you have a budget under 1.8 to 1.9 million dollars, you should really just look into buying resale properties now. Because at 1.3, 1.4 million dollars, that's 101% going to be resale properties. And at this price range, you know I can still buy you a proper 3-bedroom, okay? When I mean proper 3 bedrooms, I mean a solid 1,200 square feet 3-bedroom with yard. You confirm think can find, man? Can. Just that you don't research lor. Okay lah, the age can be a little bit old because new one you confirm cannot buy ma. So why are you being so picky? And I'm commenting purely from an investment point of view lah, not taking into account you potentially wanting to live inside. So where can I still find a 3-bedroom premium at 1.3 to 1.4 million dollars that still has pretty good potential? Now, bearing in mind that this is literally almost the lowest hanging fruit, meaning anything below that, your options are likely that of only like the Woodlands region or the West area lah. Now, not much other choices already. So at 1.3 to 1.4 million dollars, price looks attractive. But again, is price everything? No. Let's analyze and enter the Esparis condo. A 24-year-old condo that is located in Pasir Ris, the heart of the mature Pasir Ris estate. Now, slightly below that of the Coastal Cabana area, from the maps, looks quite okay, right? A park just beside it, polyclinic, community club, and police station just beside. Petrol station also just above. Other than that, it looks like your typical mature estate neighborhood lah. Except, you see what's here? Pasir Ris Drive, unconstructed, and what is that? That's the upcoming Cross Island line that is likely going to be just a very, very short walk away. Now, is that going to be a game changer? I mean, come on, having an MRT coming soon is just going to give you more plus points. Let's admit it. It's also 1 km to so many different primary schools, and you know what's the fun part? Lowest hanging fruit typically means there's nothing below you, right? Meaning in the future, when one wants to upgrade and given MRT will be close by, your unit will instantly be an option for those who are budget sensitive. So price looks good so far. The location looks like it has potential. What's the final stress test? Land size, facilities, and facade and layout. Now, land size, facilities, and facade, it's a decent plot in the HDB enclave. So without stepping foot into it, the age will definitely show, but it's still a full-fledged condo. Okay, so let's look at the layout. 1173 square feet, okay size. And given it's an older condo with 1173 square feet, instantly you know the space is going to be quite good. Now, living dining space looks good. No balcony, but a small little planter. proper kitchen, yard, and bomb shelter with a maid's toilet. Now, rooms are pretty big at about 11.5 square meters. Means that you put in a queen size bed, you still got space to put in a study table if you tuck the bed one side. Now, master also quite big. So see, older resale properties space tends to be much better even though it's not incredibly big. This layout can pass, right? So layout can pass, condo can pass. What decides now whether can pass or not? Price law? If you pay like $1.4 to $1.5 million for it and you compare with like surrounding projects, then this becomes normal. But if you get like around low $1.3 million, then that makes a lot of difference, because at $1.3 million, it legit means it's the lowest hanging fruit and there's hardly anything below you. Now some may ask, then the rental leh? Given it's so cui and so old, let's see, 4.2k, 4.4k, 4.4k, 4k. It seems like the benchmark is 4k, right? All the way to 4.4k. Very good, Cui meh? I mean, even if I put a lower number of 4k, it's like 3.6% gross yield for an old property. If it's 4.4k, it's almost close to 4%. So what else you want? So if you can enter in, let's say at $1.32 million, 1120 per square foot, 3-bedroom premium lowest hanging fruit in a mature estate, rental yield about 3.6 to 4%, layout okay, location right now a bit inaccessible but MRT coming up. Why buy a new launch when this one in the next 4 years will likely just shift upwards? And what's the angle? If you're the lowest hanging fruit and then cost continues to go up, which in my previous videos I've been highlighting, it is still going up, then the lowest hanging fruit benchmark will just rise by default. Someone this one got MRT in the future. Isn't exit going to be so much easier? And of course, this MRT is like one stop away from Pasir Ris Mall. So many schools. Lowest hanging fruit means buy low, right? Same thing, you buy low now, you aim to sell at the lowest benchmark in the future. The only thing that is being taken away from you in this instance is age. 70 odd years left is like old but not that old. So give and take, because if you want newer ones, it will easily cost like 300-400k more for similar size units, right? Hence, these cater to different crowds. Understanding your target audience is key. So you see, $1.3 million don't need to buy a new launch. But this kind of like older resale 3-bedrooms also will likely make good money. Just that a lot of people just don't know how or where to start from. Okay, that's where PocketView comes into the picture. We analyze this on a day-to-day basis. $1.5 million by what? $2 million by what? $2.5 million by what? This research method is consistent. The only thing that relies on the person researching this is what price comparisons do you make with. You take that away, you will lose a very important context. So there you have it. It's a glimpse into how I evaluate whether a resale property is worth looking at or not. Do not forget, I have only covered the quality and pricing. Exit strategy is a different story altogether, because if I were to use this analyzing method to go to the CBD, quality for some is good, pricing is damn good, but if your exit strategy is cui, then it's still going to be cui, right? Like that how? No how lah. Because property investment may look easy, but in today's market where everything is so damn high, you better do enough research to cover your downside risk. Okay, your head cannot comprehend all these, right? Then just reach out to us, leave it to us. That's where we make this property search so much easier. Because always remember this one thing, it's always about finding a property that suits you, not finding someone that suits the property.